Hello everyone, I'm back with the new content. So let's continue from the point where we have left yesterday. So let's move on to this chapter. Yeah, so let's start natural language processing. So in short, this course is whole about natural language processing, and the main tasks in NLP are as follows, which are mentioned here in the websites. First one is classifying the whole sentences. So it means that we will classify the sentence in one of the category. We have the labels which are already available. For example, if you are classifying the SMS or email, whether they are spam or not, that may be one kind of classification. Or we can also do some kind of sentiment analysis. For example, if the email is of positive sense or of a negative sense. And also in the next phase, what we can also do is classify the word in each sentence. Like, what is the word? Either it is noun, verb, adjective, or it can be the person, location, or organization. Next task is to generate the text content. We will give one starting part, or we will give a sentence and leave some mask place. In that place, the model have to put the words, or in some context it have to generate the words from the lines that are provided to it as a context. And in the same way, next way in which we can use NLP is to extract the answer from the text. So we will provide some context as well as a question. Our model has to go through the context and provide answer to that question. And in the same way, our model can also be used to generate a new sentence from the input text. For example, generating the summary of the text or translating the text into another form of language. Yes, now why it is challenging for computer to process the language? And we can see that humans have a feelings toward the language. So different word can be used in different context. For example, whenever I say I love people, I have affection toward the people, I care for the people. But the same word when I say I love chicken and mutton, so it have different meaning. So I love eating those things. I don't care about them. So but the important thing is that the computer won't perceive in that way. So they have different way of manipulating the things. And on taking another example here, which is mentioned, when we read the sentence I am hungry, we can easily understand its meaning. But if we have two sentences, for example, I am hungry and I am sad, we are able to relate those things, how similar they are. But the model will find it much more difficult. So the language is very complex thing, and our model have a very difficult time in understanding those language. We will talk about it in detail in the next chapter. A lot of research is also going on in these areas. So let's move on to the next topic. So as I mentioned in my previous section, if you got stuck, there is an option for ask a question. Here you can go and then put any kind of thing that you get confused whenever you go through the blog, and whole community will be here to support you, to provide the answer to your question. And in most of the case, the problem that you have encountered is already encountered by the people, and you will find the answer which is already solved in this forum. So you can have a look at it. And in the same way, for coding implementation part, as I have already mentioned, we have opening Colab. We can do it in Colab or Studio Lab, whatever you like. I will be using Google Colab. So let's get started with the transformer. In this section, what we are going to use the transformer library, and more importantly the pipeline function which is there in the transformer library. Transformer models are everywhere and they are very famous for NLP tasks. Here are some companies and organizations using Hugging Face where they have the whole community to share the models. So we have Allen Institute for AI, Facebook, Microsoft, and so on. The Transformer library that we have installed provide the functionality to create and use all the shared models provided by these huge companies. And the model hub contains thousands of pre-trained models that anyone can download and use. Let's have a look at it. So this page has 1,000 of models. For example, we are focusing in this part. So when we click it, text classification, we have a lot of models and we can use any one of those models in our code, and I will be going to show you how we can do it. So we have for various tasks like token classification, question answering, translation, summarization, and so on. A large number of models are available and we can use it in any context we like. Here is the video if you want to go through it. Yeah, so let's get started with the code. So I will be opening the code in Google Colab and I will explain the code one by one here in the Colab. So first step is of course installing the required library. Let's install it. Yes, I want to run it. After installing it, next step will be to import pipeline object. So let's import it. And now first step is that we will be using the pipeline for sentiment analysis. So the pipeline is something like there are a lot of steps in natural language processing, from pre-processing to providing us the output. So what pipeline is doing is that it is helping us to use the model from a larger perspective so that we don't have to worry about internal computation. We will directly provide the input and whole the pipeline will compile it, tokenize it, and process it and give us the appropriate output, so we don't have to worry about anything. So here what we are using pipeline is for sentiment analysis, and after we use pipeline for sentiment analysis, now what we have to do is we have to pass a sentence. For example, here we have passed a sentence and it has classified the sentence as positive with a score of 95%. We can also change the sentences. For example, here they have written, I have been waiting for Hugging Face course. So let's try to change it. I hate Hugging Face course my whole life. So now we have a negative score. You can try for different type of sentences. And in the same way, when we use that classifier again, it won't be loading the model again and again. It will just cache the model and use the model from that cache memory. And one thing that is mentioned here, no model was applied. So here in the pipeline, we can mention what kind of model we are going to use for sentiment analysis, as we have large number of model available. As we are not mentioning any kind of model, the default model is being used, which is mentioned here. Now next part that I have to talk is regarding the classifier. Here we can use multiple sentences in one instance of the classifier, which should be separated by commas. As you can see, when it pass multiple sentences, it will give the two outputs. So first sentence have a positive score and second sentence has a negative score. So I can pass any number of sentences I like. So I enjoy playing football. So it will provide you the answer. Let's move on. Next thing that we can use the transformer is for zero sort classification. So what it means is, in the above example, the labels are already inbuilt or they are defaulted. For example, for sentiment analysis, we have the label positive and negative. We cannot customize it. If you want to classify a sentence into the label you want, in that case we can use zero sort classification. So let's try that out. Let's suppose I want to classify this sentence. This is a course about transformer library, and the candidate labels for this are education, politics and business. When I try to run it, the model is defaulted to one of the model here, and I am not specifying the model, and it will try to provide this label, those labels, to the given sentence. So let's see. So I get the sequence. It's mostly related to education with the score of 84. So let's try it on different set of sentence. So let's say this. Let's change the sentence. Maybe Amazon products are great. Let's do it. Now we can see that score of the business is increased. Yeah. Now next thing that we can use this pipeline is for the text generation. We will provide one prompt. In this scenario, in this course, we will teach you how to is given. When you try to run it, it will try to complete the sentence by generating more text in the given context. So here is the context. In this course, we will teach you how to use a simple JavaScript editor to write and share the templates. When you run it multiple times, you will get the different answer, as it's just an probabilistic model, so it differs. Yeah. So next thing is that what you can do, you can customize this text generation. Yeah, we have provided a model, Distill GPT, so we are trying to use Distill GPT, and we are also giving the length, maximum length size, and the number of sequence we want in this case. So let's try to run it. So here the maximum length of the output will be 30 and 2 sequences will be provided. So you can change it to 50, and when you change it to 3, the action will be done accordingly. So we will have 3 sequences of maximum length 50 in this scenario. So it's straightforward. Now the next phase place where we can use pipeline is to fill the mask. So we will give one sentence and provide it as mask space, and we ask the model to generate the words to put in that place. That is called masking. So let's try to use that model. So we use the argument fill mask and we provide the context. This course will teach you all about mask. This is the place the words should be generated by the model for this place, and we are asking for the top 2 words. So our model generate mathematical with a score of 19, and in the same way computational with a score of 4. If you want to increase the number of words, let's try to make it 3, and when you try to rerun it, it will provide us the 3 context, and we can see that the contexts are mathematical, computational, and the last one with 3% is predictive. We can use this one in our one example. If you want, we can provide one context. Let's see, let's put I like the game of, let's mask it. Let's see what it will show. So it will provide me chess, poker and StarCraft. If I try to change the context, for example, let's see, I am Indian. Now let's see how it behaves. Now it changed the whole scenario. So when I mention I'm an Indian, it will provide me cricket as my first choice, followed by chess and basketball. So the context changed the masking words. Let's go on to the next line, next task I mean. So here what we are using transformer is for name entity recognition. So it will provide me the person, organization, location from the context that I have given. So let's try to run it. My name is Sylvain and I work at Hugging Face in Brooklyn. So in this case the output will be person, name, and this start and ending part. Organization is Hugging Face, start and ending, you can count the characters, and in the same way location is Brooklyn. So if I want to use this one in my one context, I can do is provide one scenario. Let's try with some example. Messi plays for Argentina in FIFA World Cup. Let's see how the model will react to this. So person is Messi and location is Argentina and entity miscellaneous is FIFA. Now let's move on to the next part. We can also use a transformer or the pipeline object for question answering. So I will provide question and the context, and it will try to answer depending upon the context. So here the question is, where do I work? Same context, my name is Sylvian and I work at Hugging Face in Brooklyn, and the model will provide the answer as Hugging Face with the score of 69. So let's change the scenario. Let's try to reuse the same thing. So where do Messi work? And let's try to give the same prompt. Control C. Let's see how the model will behave. Control V. Let's go. Yeah, so answer is Argentina. In the same way, we can also use our model for summarization. So in the pipeline, we pass summarization as an argument. So it will summarize the whole model. It will take time and it will summarize it. And in the same way, after summarizing it, we can look for the translation part. So here the model is used to translate the Helsinki language into the English language. So whenever I try to convert that, it will change the language in Helsinki into the English one. So yeah, so this is the course. It's produced by Hugging Face. So these are the various things that are mentioned in the site. Let's try some of the models that are given here. So let's start with text classification. Let's sort it by most downloads. Okay, so we can use anyone. So this is the most downloaded, 8.02 million. So let's try to use it. Okay, so here is an example. So let's try to give our one output. I am enjoying my day. So let's see how it behaves. This is an API. We don't need to go through the code. If we have just the target of just using the model, trying to explore it, we can use the model through an API as like I'm doing. So joy score is 90%, amusement is 4%, and so on. If you want to use this model, you can go over here using transformer, pipeline, copy the code, go to your collab file, code, paste it here, and then what you can do in pipe, you pass your sentence. I'm enjoying my day. Now it will provide you with the output. Yeah, so joy score is 90% as we have got. In the same way, let's try a few other models. Let's go back. Let's try something for maybe translation. Let's go over here, and then must download. Let's try G5 small. Okay, yeah, so this is the model. What it does, yeah, this is the model that transfer English language to German. So if give an example, my name is Wolfgang and I live in Berlin. Let's try to change it, or it's already done. We can customize it. I love playing football. We can do it. Now the model is loading. I'm trying to use the API. Okay, it's translating, and in the same way, if you want to use it in your code, here is the output in German. I cannot verify it. If you know something about German, you can do it. Or in the same way, if you want to use it through the code, just go over here, copy the link, copy the code, I mean, go over, paste it, and yeah, in the same way, pass the sentence that you are going to translate, and then boom, here is the translation. Yeah, so this is the all things that I want to mention in this part. All the things are here, so we have done almost all the things. And yeah, you can go through the number of models that are given over here and try the model in your own way. I will be uploading the next part very soon, which is related to the internal architecture of transformer. How do they work? See you soon. Thank you very much.